Have you gentlemen ever been in a situation where you've done someone a significant favor or several significant favors over the course of some time, and that person just completely disappears into thin air? Not a trace, no calls, no invitations for a significant amount of time, and absolutely no gesture nor service of gratitude whatsoever. Either that, or they are just completely unfazed by your existence, escalating to the point of trying to avoid you even in a situation where you are noticeably present. Congratulations, you have just been turned into a stepping stone or a free step on a ladder by someone whom you once were too naive to give meaningful and prosperous assistance to. So why do people want to use you as their stepping stone? Simply put, it's because you possess and have good access or close associations towards something or someone that they want to have or achieve. You are merely the blunt instrument of opportunity for them to capitalize in order to fulfill or get closer to their desires. Most commonly in today's world, it's about professional positions, social connections, and resource abundance. But it can be as simple as emotional availability. How many times during your college years that you've heard rumors or assumptions surrounding one person taking advantage of another person because of their network of wealthy individuals and access to exclusivity? Quite plenty, if I'm going to be honest. Now, contextually, people being utilized as stepping stones are ever so slightly different from people pleasers utilized as free doormats by others. While people pleasers are taken advantage of because of their lack of value and disposable attitude, people who are utilized as stepping stones are taken advantage of because of their presence of value and their naive attitude. However, that doesn't mean that they don't have any similarities between them. In fact, they possess majority of the same characteristics. Firstly, it's lack of both awareness and confidence. This trait screams one thing: vulnerability. When you lack self-assurance, especially in social situations, you are automatically prone to being indecisive and fearful to causing mishaps and embarrassing yourself, which leaves you nakedly exposed and default into submission to other people's narrative, appeal, and intentions. And those willing to prey on your vulnerability will notice this very early, and their initial act of empathy and understanding for you will hastily but naively encourage you to plant the seed of trust between your relationship with them. The more cognitive and emotionally vulnerable you are, the much easier you will be convinced. The second one is giving too much free respect. I've mentioned this in a previous video that you should not give anyone too much respect unless they have time and time again demonstrated their integrity. Of course, this doesn't mean that you should treat everyone like an absolute ass. Obviously not. Maintain your mannerism, but don't be foolishly inconsiderate. All the while you patiently observe their words and actions over time. Giving too much free respect too quickly will only signify that you are carelessly willing to trust other people easily, either due to social desperation to attain trustworthiness or merely habits, thereby again putting yourself in a vulnerable position. Thirdly is being too generous. Yes, this one is probably the one trait that can coherently and unanimously relate both people pleasers and stepping stones. This naive and delusional way of thinking, or being overly fixated on the good things come to those who do good kind of narrative, will only disappoint you in the end. And this is what I fell into believing back in the days. Idealistically and moralistically, it is what we all want. But in the real world, it will never always turn out that way. You will inevitably taste the sharp needle of humanity's mischief, one way or another. Doing favors for others is without question an ethical and righteous thing to do, and by no means I'm telling you to stop doing them, but if you become overly giving for more than necessary, or even if it is uncalled for, whatever your intentions are, genuine or disingenuous, people will start to take you for granted and your quote-unquote kindness will eventually be disposable. So choose wisely and mindfully who you wish to do favors for. And finally, lacking boundaries. I'm going to make a separate video dedicated to this particular topic alone, but in essence, this is about allowing people's words and actions to control your thoughts and decisions. Every manipulative people's goal is to subconsciously sabotage and remove its host from their own point of view, thereby removing and relinquishing their sense of dignity. Intuitively, we all have that distinct sense of alertness or a brain tingle when circumstances are not what or how they seem to be. A person whom you've only known for a month suddenly asking your help to fund his supposedly dying wife. Or someone who used to be cold towards you suddenly becomes warm, friendly, and accommodating when you are present in his vicinity. There are inconsistencies in the nexuses, and those are the things you need to pay great attention to and embed them into your boundaries. Do not be too captivated on the feelings of others or wondering how your decisions would hurt their feelings, especially in a situation where you are the one who have much to lose. Having strong boundaries is not a sign of insecurity, it's a sign of great care to your dignity. That is why you must also be able to identify or at least have some awareness of the types of people who have the potential to take advantage of you. There are two types, the taker and the charmer. The taker is a simple one to spot. This person will only ever get in touch with you when they want something from you or will only want to hang around you if the circumstance benefits them in some form of way. They are the easy come, easy go type of person. A common example is the person who would ask how are you and how your family's doing only to proceed to ask for a big favor, usually involves borrowing money. Or a person who only want to come along for a gathering or a night out with you only if a certain individual or a group of people would also be coming along. The charmer, on the other hand, is on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. This individual is very difficult to fathom, and you probably would fall under his or her spell first and narrow down your judgment of them before you get the chance to take a peek underneath their captivating charisma. So forgive me if I describe this type of individual with a mouthful, but it needs to be said for the sake of you lot. This individual will immediately try to cunningly convince you firsthand of their apparent innocence and sincerity through well-timed and well-thought-out flatteries, on which you would be more inclined to be seduced by because they are backed or enforced either by their physical aesthetics or their open-minded nature. And we all know human beings love being validated, praised, and commended. They will often bring an air of positivity around you and will subconsciously convince you of their respectability and then lure you into doing favors for them on which you will be more inclined to accept because of their accommodating presence. However, there is one thing you gentlemen need to observe about the charmer because they have one weak link. And that is to observe what they do when circumstances do not go their way. They will show you their true colors, and if it involves you refusing to do favors for them, they can go as far as putting you in a state of moral or ethical disadvantage. Meaning they will try to challenge and mock your dignity as a person. Now this is where most of us are forced to concede because we do not want to compromise our integrity, especially in social situations where reputations can be manufactured and spread at an alarming rate. However, in this situation, it is a reasonable exception. Having strong morals and ethics is good, but if you want to apply them, make sure that they reflect the reality of the circumstance that is in front of you. Do not be swayed when manipulative people question your integrity towards your morals because you are unable to fulfill their selfish wishes. It is rightfully so to be okay for you to temporarily abandon your morals and ethics when you are dealing with disingenuous people, because again, it is a situation where you are the one who has a lot more to lose. That is why having strong boundaries is absolutely necessary. Thank you for watching.